Still got the kind of the really pleasant kind of ethos of a UDO instrument. Say for example, let's put it in a mono mode. It will do your greasy kind of mono synth duties, as well as kind of I don't know, nice soft sounds too. Essentially, 8 voices of polyphony, 2 layers of multi-timbrality. Each one's a uniquely independent synthesizer that can be split, layered, bounced off each other, rotated, this one first and then that one, probabilistic which one it's going to be. It's got a DSP-FX engine, it's got an audio interface, it's got CV and gate outputs for each layer, it's got an analog preamplifier with gate threshold detector and envelope follower, which you can use as a mod source. And you combine it with a computer and USB audio interface, you can use it as an external processor as well. But consider a little setup of like a row of analog modules driven with CV and gate, fed back into the audio input in here with the gate detection, and then routed with USB to the computer, going through the effects section, etc. It's a really flexible, powerful little thing, so you can use it like as an external processor, as an effect unit, as a gritty, dirty, punchy monosynth, also as a kind of flexible little polysynth, and really mainly something for sort of creative music making. I mean, so that's just literally nothing more than a simple square wave. Maybe add another oscillator. Let's make it, I don't know, make it not a poly sound, but a legato sound. All your basics and all your kind of crispy, spacey, ethereal stuff as well. Just fun and I don't know.
The essential sound emitting part of this synthesizer is called an
FPGA.
FPGA, and that is really heavy. You need to sort out the algorithm in great detail because it's so incredibly high resolution. So nothing comes by pure chance. It doesn't give you anything. And the way you've done it here, I mean, you're all listening to it thinking, oh, maybe this is like purely analog. It's so rich, it's like sweet. It's got this tone that is beautiful, yet like gnarly. And the noises that you somehow, white noise can be very recognizable, but the noises that you can make with this can turn more to, you can tame it. You can land not in the shh land, but more in the land, and it's like sweeten it in a way that I think you're creating your own musical landscape. I was listening to what you're doing, and the way you can elaborate into being subtle, not necessarily scream all the time, but you have such a good ear for doing subtle things, like doing this little plinky plonky thing that's going out into the universe and then back in, and yeah, it's a real balance, I think, making a synthesizer where you can be like subtle and harmonious with, while also go out on a limb and be totally bonkers.
So one instrument here is doing one pattern, whereas the other one's doing another. So you can hear that's on fourths. And you put them together and they make a kind of nice interaction. So this isn't necessarily new, because the Super 8 and the Gemini allow you to do different clock divisions of different arpeggiators on different layers.
You've got one whole voice that is one, say, complex oscillator sound. That's how you're approaching it.
Yeah, so one whole domino.
You're removing that first domino from the mix, and it only then...
Yeah, so all you hear, this domino becomes oscillator 3, essentially, of this one. So you can have the second one as well, but you can mix all sorts of different... essentially this becomes a super rich, bulbous sound source for the second one. How you split up the keyboard in an instrument from the actual core itself. And I think realistically, because you want it to be MIDI controllable, you have to route the MIDI.
Yeah.
So what happens inside actually is the MIDI will come in, and then there'll be a little quiet rerouting, which is what happens, that gives it to one or the other. So that you just play and record a single sound, and then the instrument essentially works that out. So yes, it will be, you'll be able to remotely, externally control it, and it will still operate in ping pong between the different modes, as you would expect, essentially. Yeah. But you dial in the chances of whether it's this one or this one, and then you dial in the chances of whether it shifts your pitch an octave, or dial in the chances of whether it switches it a fifth, and all sorts of things. But it's in development.
Yeah, those, even with very similar voices, kind of that like modular approach that I have to a lot of things, it might just be that the second voice has a slightly brighter filter and a slightly faster PWM.
Yeah.
Just occasionally kind of pinging one note into that, almost like a random accent.
And I found that that's what works best.
Right.
Because when I first engaged the play modes, I was finding that, if you have wildly different sounds, it's very unpredictable and quite difficult. And I think it's worth mentioning that this instrument is not a replacement for the Supers. Actually, the Super 6, the Super 8, Super Gemini is so much easier to play.
Okay. So
they are much easier to play. They've got longer keyboards. It's hard to make a bad sound. This one, you can kind of, you can drive it a bit chaotic, and you have to work a little bit more. So I was doing a demo today with Nick Batt this morning, and it was really loud, and I couldn't really hear, and I was struggling a little bit with it. So you have to work a little bit harder with this one. And every kind of different filter mode. This is cascaded phase shifters. Led you down a different rabbit hole, and you want to dial in that type of behavior with the rest of the instrument. So yeah, it's quite deep, despite the compact size, basically. This one is a bit like, I don't quite know what it's going to do next, so I'm almost a little bit scared of that.
I really like that chaos, and I kind of like to assign the character of synthesizer to people I've played with bands in previous years. And I like the idea of that kind of slightly chaotic bass player that's a bit awkward to wrangle, but just every now and then they just give you that thing and that feel.
If you get the oscillator levels too loud. The supers won't do that.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean, they'll always be polite and reward you. This is kind of a bit more. I find myself doing that
Yeah, tweak
a little bit
Yeah.
more, kind of,